Morning, welcome back. My name is Michael and welcome to episode 32 of the Outside Bet. We're back after a long week for our Premier League review. It's a little bit late. This will be a Premier League review. There'll be a free big bet at the end, which I know you've come for. We will also cover La Liga and Bundesliga briefly for reasons that will become clear. As ever, please like and subscribe and comment on the YouTube video. Leave us a 5-star review if you're listening on the audio pod. It means a lot to us. And don't panic, this is your Premier League review. Sorry, it's a bit chaotic, but we've had a nightmare week in the world of football data. This affects betting, this affects FPL, this affects everyone. In that Opta have refused to provide FBRef with any more data. It's one thing that everyone was using to build their models. There'll be lots more in the press about it, so I won't cover it here. There are people who are extremely unhappy. We have managed to switch our coverage to 3 main leagues at the moment, La Liga, Bundesliga and FPL, and we are trying to negotiate a deal that will bring in another 27 leagues, which we hope to conclude by the end of Jan. But we will be able to bring in a couple more leagues one at a time. It's just a lot more work. Remember, there's a free big bet, and the clue today is that it's at the Toon. And we have trades from the English Premier League in this podcast. We've got leans from the Premier League. We've got full bets, and all the leans are already with the private WhatsApp members, of course. The data sheets, which are in my hand here, and predictions are with all of the patrons. And the detailed leans and the detailed tips are actually with the upper tier patrons. The free big bets will always be free on YouTube, as you know. So let's have a more detailed look at the Premier League action first and foremost. I'll grab some paper and we'll have a quick look. The game week starts not that long away, so I'm going to get this out straight away. And that's a reminder that you should have the bell icon on. If you have the bell icon, you'll get this as soon as it drops, which should give you some time to take advantage of these leans. Because in the first game, we have actually got a lean, which is a lean towards West Ham over Sunderland. There's great value still there, at least 13% value, depending on whether you bet on home wins, Asian handicaps, or if you start building bet builders out of West Ham supremacy. So that's a great little start to the day. They look like they're slightly improving, and Sunderland aren't as good away from home and keep getting favoured by the bookies. Burnley, Tottenham, Fulham, Brighton. That looks like a game with not much value. If we're looking for the next bit of value to try and hurry this along, because I've got the other 2 leagues to cover, the best value for the weekend, and I've given you a hint already, is at Newcastle, Aston Villa. We will cover that in the free big bet at the end, so I don't need to mention it here. But that then moves on to Brentford, Notts Forest. There is definite value in goals here. The market seems to be undervaluing total goals, which suits us down to the ground, because it also favours anyone who would like to have a bet on one of the 2 teams' supremacy, because you can just go for longer. Because if they're going to win by more, or there's going to be more goals in the game. Talking of supremacy, if you fancy going against Chelsea today, there is great value in Palace. The reason for this is clear. No one understands Palace. No one knows where they'll be, and no one knows what Glasner is going to do. So be super wary. We're not taking bets like that at all. There's only one big bet for us today in the Premier League anyway. Last one with a bit of colour on is the Everton-Leeds game. Monday night game. Always a long way away. Total goals look good in that as well. Everton look like they're playing really well. They've got KDH coming back. Hopefully that won't affect Garner's positioning, but it might do. So if you're an FPL player, don't buy Garner yet until you see how he's going to play when the AFCON boys come back, and KDH. We've got some steers for next week, but I'll give you them on Monday or Tuesday in a separate pod. And so if we have a look at the Bundesliga, Eintracht Frankfurt, we got a great one last night. To anyone who's in our WhatsApp groups or our private patrons, we got the Levante Elche game correct for value, and we also got the St. Pauli Hamburg game correct for value. So we won't dwell on those now. For Eintracht Frankfurt and Hoffenheimer, we've got home win value all over that. I mean, that looks like a really good one. So we've got that. If you look at the internals of that, we've got about 15% value on the home, which is great. Mönchengladbach versus Stuttgart, we've got away team value. As always, be super careful on away team value, guys. I mean, I don't bet on it very often. Once this season, lost. But it's there massively. If you want to have a go with Stuttgart, they've got Champions League, I think. So that means you never know about rested players either. So just be careful, check the lineups. And we've got goals in the Freiburg-Köln game having lots of value as well. If you want to do that, I'd try and find an over 2 goals value. Because if the over 2.5 goals is value, then the over 2 should have some value. And at that point, you at least get covered with a 2-0 win. We're starting to see some value arriving for next week in the Bundesliga and La Liga as well. So moving on finally to La Liga, before we give you the big bet, we had the Levante last night. That was a comeback win for us. We had an 18% strength value in Levante at home. They were losing that game, so it was a bit of a nice comeback. Valencia, Espanyol, there's value in the home win. There's value in the away win for Sevilla Athletic Bilbao, but that is, you've got to be super careful with that because there's European games dotted around. There's value in Valencia. Swerve betting against Madrid, please, please, please. You do not know whether they're going to play their players. You do not know whether their players are going to try. And you really don't know how they're going to behave for a new manager either. Last little bit of value to look at, probably for value. I mean, you can have a look at two more. Real Sociedad versus Celta Vigo is a great bit of away value. But if you want to pick the pick, then on Monday night, Girona are playing Getafe. The away value on that game is 28%, and the over 2.5 goals has also got 10% value. So picking something with a little bit of value, a little bit of a tweak for the away team, in this case Girona, in this case Getafe, to win away or maybe produce more shots, more everything else. I'm going to run out of battery on this video. So let's seal off the big bet at 6.5 minutes. And I'll give you the 6.5 minute rundown. So 6 minutes 30 seconds for the big bet. I'm going to timestamp this, and good luck to everyone who's watched the whole of the podcast through this far. And normal service will be resumed with a bit more videos once we get our data feedback up and running. So at 6 minutes 30, welcome to the big bet. Please like and subscribe and comment on the YouTube video and leave us a 5-star review if you're listening to the audio pod. If you're watching this on TikTok, please come over and watch us on YouTube. You can get these bets before the matches actually happen, because that is the point of betting. You only get put on YouTube, on TikTok if they won, but on YouTube they're put on in advance. As you know, we're back in the Premier League for this bet, and we're heading to Newcastle for our selection. So let's keep our form going on the free big bets and the Premier League. The WhatsApp members already have all the bets, and the patrons have the data sheets and the leans, which I've gone through some of on this podcast earlier. So let's head to Newcastle, Aston Villa, Sunday at 2 p.m. We've got great value on the Asian goals market here. Our model has 4.46 goals for the game. That's split 2.54 to 1.92 in favour of the home team, and that implies a total goals of 4.5. The Asian market across the street has Asian goals at over 2.75, some places even over 2.5. So we have our 1 goal value easily met. Now, we know lots of you don't want to bet on evens bets. We do. That's absolutely fine. But if the overs are that far over, check all the other bets for your bet builders, for your accumulators, for anything you need. Because as long as the over 2.75 is at that level, evens, it means everything else that's priced off the overs market, shots, total goals, total shots, home shots, player goals, they are all going to be brilliant value. And then remember, the value will not last. That's a Sunday 2 p.m. game, and we fully expect that to be eaten up by tomorrow morning. And that's why we always recommend the bell icon on YouTube, so you can get this video as soon as it comes out when the value is still there. So come on the Geordies, come on the villains, bring us a bit of Sunday fun and lots of goals. Have a great weekend. And all that remains to be said is goodbye, good luck, be safe everyone, be nice to each other, and love you lots. See you on the next video.